Hello, everyone, and welcome. As a specialist in hotel operations, I've seen countless grand openings. And I can tell you, success or failure, well, that's often decided long before the first guest ever walks through the door. And a special welcome to all the students from Europe Hotel School joining us. Today, we're going to dive deep into one of the most critical moments in a hotel's life, that final dress rehearsal before the big launch. So picture this. You've got the perfect blueprint, a truly stunning building, and a brand new team ready to go. But here's the thing. The gap between a plan on paper and a living, breathing, five-star operation, it is vast. So the big question is, right? How do you actually bridge that gap without risking your entire reputation on day one? How do you turn a building into an experience? And that is the pre-opening challenge. The pressure is just immense. You've got every department, every system, every new hire, and they all have to work in perfect harmony. And at the center of it all, the person conducting this whole complex orchestra is the front office manager. They're the one responsible for orchestrating these final, critical tests before the curtain rises.
Okay, let's be really clear about something. You don't just flip a switch and go from construction site to fully operational. That would be a complete recipe for disaster. Instead, this transition is this incredibly strategic process, and its whole point is to expose every single flaw before a paying guest ever sees one. So, how does the industry handle this? Well, they've got this really smart two-part strategy, the dry run and the soft opening. Basically, you can think of them as your final dress rehearsals. First, you've got an internal simulation to find all the problems, followed by a controlled launch to perfect a performance. Let's break them both down.
All right, let's kick things off with phase one, the dry run. Now, what's so interesting about this is the mindset. It's kind of like a flight simulator for your hotel. And the goal? It's not to succeed. Nope. The goal is to actually create problems, to stress test every single system, and to push the whole operation to its breaking point, all in a completely safe internal environment. So for about 3 to 5 really intense days, the hotel pretends it's at 100% capacity. But the guests, they're actually corporate staff or volunteers. And their one and only mission is to be the most demanding guests you can possibly imagine. And get this, no real money changes hands. The only currency that matters here is data on what works and, more importantly, what breaks. Okay, so what does this look like in the real world? It's a very structured process. Step 1, you simulate peak demand. Imagine everyone trying to check in at the exact same time. Then you throw all sorts of manufactured chaos at the team with these stress scenarios. Crucially, every single failure or snag is meticulously logged. And the day ends in a war room debrief, where you don't just list problems, you solve them right then and there. The front office manager is driving this whole thing with an incredibly detailed checklist. And we're talking about everything from the most complex group check-ins you can think of, to handling fake complaints, to testing emergency procedures. Can the system handle a foreign currency exchange? What happens when a brand new agent has to deal with a guest who's lost their passport? Every button, every policy, every person gets tested. And really, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The goal is intentional failure. You want to find every weakness, every glitch in the software, every confusing step in a procedure now, so you can fix it before it ever impacts your reputation and your revenue. It is the definition of proactive problem solving. Okay, so once you've basically broken everything on purpose and then fixed it all, you're ready for phase 2, the soft opening. This is your preview performance. For the very first time, you've got real paying guests and real money on the line. But, and this is super important, you've still got a safety net. So what's that safety net? It's all about controlled occupancy. As you can see here, you don't just open all your rooms at once. You start small, maybe just 10% in week 1, then you gradually ramp it up. And why do you do this? It's simple, really. A mistake that impacts 10 rooms, that's a learning experience. A mistake that impacts 100 rooms, that's a full-blown catastrophe. It's not just about how many guests you have, it's also about who they are. The guests for a soft opening are very strategically chosen. Think friendly corporate clients, travel agents, or maybe media who agree not to write a review. They all get that it's a shakedown period. And who do you absolutely positively not invite? Yeah, no high-profile VIPs or influential reviewers. You save them for when you know you're flawless. So during this soft opening, your focus totally shifts.
It's less about breaking systems and much more about perfecting that human element. The management team is right there on the floor, watching, coaching, and making sure that when some small error inevitably happens, the team's recovery is lightning fast. They feel empowered to fix it, and they turn a potential negative into a huge positive. It's also the final check on all those financial systems. So let's zoom out from the process for a second. What's the big idea here? What's the management philosophy that actually makes all of this work? Because it's about way more than just checklists and plans. At its heart, it's all about culture. And, this might be the most important takeaway of this whole explainer: psychological safety. None of this works without a culture of open reporting. Your team members have to feel safe enough to raise their hand and say, hey, this is broken, or I don't understand this procedure. You have to reward people for finding problems, not punish them. When you do that, you build this incredibly confident, validated team that's ready for anything. This table really lays it all out perfectly, side by side. On one side, you've got the dry run, internal staff. The goal is to break things, no money, and you measure success by how many problems you find. On the other side, the soft opening, real paying guests. The goal is to perfect your service, you're generating some revenue, and success is all about guest satisfaction. Two very distinct phases with one common goal: excellence. You see, when you master this two-phase approach, you make sure that by the time you actually get to your grand opening, it's not some hopeful first attempt. It is a polished, proven performance. So the question I'll leave you with is this: when it's your turn, when your moment comes, will you be prepared to lead this process and deliver not just a promise, but a proven reality of excellence?